cut. Let me make sure. I hope this is in focus. Yeah, you're in focus. One of us is in focus. Sorry.
You said one. Yikes.
Okay, so what am I gonna? So what am I gonna do? So I said like. Had to be today. All right. Yeah,
Thank
next
you.
time I don't even. There'll be extras.
When should I be the extra? I don't know when.
I was kind of joking. It doesn't even really matter.
I'm screaming.
Yeah.
No, because you're gonna eventually.
Oh no, I was. Let me know.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead, do your thing, guys.
You can be the star when we do the interview. You don't need to be the extra for that. All right. Let me see. We still rolling? Where was I even at? What was I saying? Okay. Let me see if there's anything special I gotta say in the outro. You guys want to say anything? I
Bye,
think I
y'all.
already
No, let me stop.
said. All right. Follow me. One more time. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is ChukwunonsoCaptures, aka Mazi. Chakon, aka the photo cosmetic surgeon. Back in, not Photo Lab this time, we're at the Sussex County Sunflower Field. Shout out to all my clients out there. You are appreciated. Special thanks to all the models and muses. We got 2 right here. You guys keep me inspired. One love to all my supporters on social media. You keep me going. All right, so today we're gonna talk about double exposure, right? So double exposure is kind of just like its name. So you take 2 exposures, 2 pictures, right? One usually of a model's face, and then another one of a landscape. It could be mountains, trees, a forest, anything like that. In this case, it's gonna be sunflowers, okay? So right here, I have Lauren, and I have Tanaya. And so I'm gonna link their Instagrams in the description box below. So check them out. They do great modeling work. And so I'm gonna take 2 pictures, all right? So first picture is gonna be of the model's faces, right? Just close-ups of their faces, okay? And then the next picture is going to be of the sunflowers themselves. And I'm gonna merge the 2 in Photoshop, okay? I'm probably gonna split this into 2 different videos, all right? Okay. So I'm just trying to get some good variety in the pictures of the sunflowers. You know what I'm saying? Enough to kind of fill out the model's face, add enough variety so you can really see a lot of like the landscape come in to the model's face. All right, so we just finished taking all the pictures and we are going to hop onto my laptop and I'm gonna show you how we edit these shots, all right? Let's go do some double exposure. All right, follow me. All right, so welcome to my laptop screen. Welcome to this channel. If you're new here, please hit that like button and the subscribe button if you may, because that lets YouTube or Grumble or whatever channel that you're, whatever platform that you're watching this on, know that you like to see this content. So it'll show you more of this type of content and less of the stuff that you don't want to see. So more of what you want to see and less of what you don't want to see. So if you could, that would help me out, and it would help you out too to continue to see the stuff that you like. All right, so this is the picture that I took of Tanaya from the sunflower field photo shoot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna superimpose this picture onto a picture of a sunflower that I took here. So this is the picture of the sunflower, right? So I'm gonna superimpose this picture onto the picture of Tanaya. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this move tool up here. I'm gonna drag this down and I'm gonna make everything, I'm gonna put everything all in one Photoshop document. That way it's easier to use. So I just dragged it over and I can put this back here. I don't need it as much anymore. And I'm just gonna work on this one. So let me move this so that it's in the center. And then I'm just gonna double click on this layer here. And that's fine, we'll call it layer 0. I just did that so it won't be locked anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I can move it around because before it was locked. Let me see if I can go back a step and show you. See how it was locked before? I just went up to the history thing over here, and this lets you go back a step. So it was locked before, and here I'm gonna go back to making it a layer, just doing what I did before to double click it. So I'm gonna put this on top, right? And I'm probably just going to, let me see if I can just hide this for now. I don't need it visible even though it's underneath. I'm just gonna hide it for now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start working on this layer, right? So this layer of tonight, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to first select her using, I'm gonna go up here, use the quick selection tool. No, not that one. The quick selection tool. And just gonna increase the size of the brush. I'm just gonna select her and make her just come out from the background so that I don't need the background, you know what I'm saying? I just want her, superimpose the flower onto her, and then I want to kind of change this background, right? I want some creative freedom with the background, so I'm just gonna get rid of it just by selecting her. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna make the brush a lot softer. I'm gonna turn the hardness down, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna start selecting. I'm just gonna select her face here. And I can just change the size of the brush as needed as I go to other parts of the body. And Photoshop does a pretty decent job knowing what's part of the selection. I can try to zoom in a little bit. Try to zoom in a little bit. See if I can get certain parts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different part of Photoshop to kind of help me with the details. And not all this matters. As you can see here, just getting the selection perfect doesn't all matter too much, because in the end I'm going to kind of like clean everything up with finishing touches in the end. So you're probably going to see little parts of it that don't look quite perfect, but I'm not worrying about that too much right now, because I could always come back later. All right, so I think that's good enough for now. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to do selecting mask. All right, and so it should show me the selection that was made. I'm going to smooth the lines that I made. I'm going to turn up the smoothness to around 12. That way the lines aren't so jagged. Let's do 14. And the radius, let's do 2 pixels. Maybe feather a little bit too. 1 pixel, that's fine. All right, so I'm gonna hit the OK button. So now she's selected, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do a layer via copy. Yeah, so layer via copy. As you can see, it created another layer of her, right? And so I don't need this picture of her anymore, but I'm going to turn this off. So it's just, as you can see, it's just nothing. It's transparent, you know, checkerboard background. And this is kind of what I was talking about before. There's a little bit of a like color spill from the environment, the green, but I'm gonna take care of that later, towards the end. And so what I'm going to do is, I don't need this. I'm gonna drag it all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to add a solid color, or just a layer. Solid color layer. All right, and I'm gonna just make it white for now. I think I might change it a little bit later. So I'm gonna make it white. I'm gonna put it right underneath this, right? And the next thing, this layer here, I go ahead and make it active, even though you weren't really seeing it before. But I'm gonna drag this layer of the background up to the top, right? And what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and center this a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna change the blending mode to screen, right? So this is basically acting like a screen, and it allows me to see her underneath it. You know what I'm saying? So this layer is now like a screen. And then what I'm going to do is come over here to get the move tool. Just gonna slide it over a little bit. That way the sunflower can kind of be a little bit more focused. No, down isn't good. So over is good. Right. That way we got a sunflower. You can kind of, I want to be able to make out that this is a sunflower. So we're like right here. So I got sunflower here, I got sunflower here, sunflower here. I'm just trying to make sure that you see enough sunflowers overall in the picture, right? So, all right. So the next thing to do is, you can't really see a lot of Tanaya's, face and everything like that, because even though it is a screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to throw a mask on this right here, right? On this this layer of the background. Throw a mask on it. And what this mask is going to do is I'm going to use this mask to hide a little bit of the sunflower, right? Picture and reveal what's going on underneath. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to come over and here I'm going to use this brush tool. Black is selected in the foreground. The opacity and flow are the way they're supposed to be. That's all right. Just lower numbers. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of make this picture a little bit more, I guess, lifelike. Just to do my best, even though it is supposed to be more of like a artistic, abstract rendition. It's not necessarily supposed to look exactly like a human model, like a human. It's kind of be, it's someone superimposed with a sunflower, right? And I'm going to try to do my best to kind of bring out some of the features here. And I'm just going to show you what that's like. The opacity is a little bit too high. See if I can bring out eyes a little bit more. See, if I take a few steps back, you'll see what I'm talking about. So if we take a look at the eyes, you see that? So let me see what I can bring out. And then I might actually bring, put a little bit more of the abstract color back in the eyes. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to go around like, the changes in her facial features, you know what I'm saying? To kind of, show that it's actually still her, so you can kind of see her through the sunflower. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward, but basically all I'm doing is painting blacks onto this mask. So I'm gonna fast forward now. All right, we're back. We are back. One thing I forgot to notice, so far I forgot to mention, I had my brush softness up, or hardness up way too much. It was like this before. So I just turned down the softness, just so it's a little bit better. And you might have noticed me coming over here, hit the Alt button. I was Alt or Option on the Mac, clicking on this mask here to see where I was, just kind of revealing more of her face. So that's what we got going on there, right? So I did this, and I'm going to do this in a few different steps here. What I'm trying to do is just bring a little bit more of her face back, but I'm just going to probably do it in a few different steps at a time, and then see what works and see how it's looking. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is essentially to take this picture of her, right? I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm actually going to put it back on top of this layer to bring a little bit more color from her complexion and her features, and bring that back into the picture, right? So I'm going to take this layer here, this layer of her, and I'm gonna click and we'll drag it down to this plus right here, right? So it's going to duplicate it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on top of this screen, this layer screen, right? And so that actually kind of brings the picture back to normal because it's sitting there on top of the screen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, right? I'm going to reduce the opacity a little bit. And I'm also probably going to do another layer mask screen to hide some of her face. So there we go. So we have that. Now it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to conceal and reveal this so you can see what it was like before and after. Right. So I'm going to make this like an iterative process. I'm probably going to do this in a few steps. So now we have a little bit more of her coming back. And that gives us a little bit of control. So I'm just changing the numbers here. I think 23, 30, I think 29-ish was like the sweet spot. 30 looks a little bit, so yeah, okay, we'll keep it at 29. It looks like that was a sweet spot. And another thing that I want to do is I'm gonna come here and the yellows look good because, you know, it's like a nice bright type picture and everything. But the greens look a little bit distracting, right? The greens of the leaf and stuff like that. So, and you know, the main feature of a sunflower is usually, you know, the head of the flower itself with the petals and things like that. So with the green, all of this green, I'm gonna see if I can do something about it, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come over here and I'm gonna make a selective color layer, right? So it's the selective color layers here is going to affect this because this is right underneath it, right? I could even clip it if I wanted the selective color layer to not affect this. I think that's what I'm going to do just in case. Create clipping mask. That way the selective color only affects this. It doesn't affect the picture of her. I have more control over what I'm doing. So when we're worried about selective color, I'm going to try to target the colors that I want to change. So the greens is what I want to change. So let's see, let's do some experimenting here. If I make the greens a little bit less black, let's see what happens in the picture. Okay, I'm trying to make the greens a little less visible. So okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So maybe the greens a little bit less black. Let me go all the way. It's probably not the best. So let's keep it like that. Now let's see if we're making the greens less yellow. Let's see what that does. Not really doing much. Okay. We make them less magenta. I'm just moving these around. See if we can, you know, kind of just make the greens a little bit less intense. So that there's still greens there, but you know, not as much anymore. So look at that before after. Alright. I think that'll make the picture look a tiny bit more natural. Let me see. I think another thing I'm going to do is add another layer here. I'm going to make a hue saturation layer. So hue saturation, I'm also going to clip it. And let's see if we can affect the greens of hue saturation layer, right? So when it comes to greens, let's desaturate them a little bit. Okay, it's almost making them almost black. Let's see. We can make them lighter. Let's keep the lightness the way it's supposed to be. Let's keep it like that. And we'll change the hues. That's not the best. We'll keep it at 0. All right, and let's see if we can come back here because this leaf is a little distracting. So I'm going to come back here, back working on this layer. I got black selected here, and I want to see if I can just, you know, fade this leaf out a little bit. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but all I'm doing is kind of brushing blacks onto this white mask, which is gonna fade this leaf. All right, we're back. We are back, and another thing that I'm gonna do is now worrying about this. I kind of have an idea. Worrying about this top layer, right, of her. Remember before how I put her to 29? Let's actually see if I can increase this a little bit more, right? see if I can increase this. So now that I've increased this, now I'm actually going to add a layer to it and then selectively almost kind of re-reveal some of the sunflower background. So let me just see what that looks like. And if not, you know, I can always kind of tone it up and tone it down, dial up and dial down the opacity. So I'm just gonna do that and just see what that looks like. I still got the float opacity set to lower numbers. I'm going to hit X on the keyboard so that I'm painting blacks to conceal instead of whites to reveal. So let me just do a little bit of that here just to reveal just the parts of, you know, the sunflower and things in the background and things like that that will kind of make the picture look more like if there was a sunflower there. So I'm going to fast forward again. All right, we're back. We are back. And one thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to try to start to bring this picture together a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is, remember this this white layer here? I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to change the color of this layer a little bit to kind of bring out more of the original screened background. So as you know, we have this screen here, which means that this layer right here is a screen. Remember, it's a screen blending mode. So that means everything underneath it is going to be a screen for it. So even this white layer is going to be a screen for this background. So I'll double click on this white layer. And instead of making it white, let me see if I can make it just a little bit dark, maybe like a grayish color. When I do that, a little bit more of the background comes through, right? So you can see the rest of this there. You can see the sunflower. Hopefully you can see that wherever you're watching your screen is able to, your phone screen or whatever you're watching is able to pick up that. So we got a little bit more of the background, the more gray I make it, just to kind of add a little bit more life to the picture, or just not life, but continuity to the picture, to kind of show that it's part of something, you know, bigger. It's almost kind of like, you know, just adds to the abstract effect. You know what I'm saying? So I think this gray is good. All right, yeah, I think that's all right. So I'm just gonna hit the OK button. You know, before I was going to do yellow. Let's see what like a yellowish color looks like. Yeah, it just adds like a tint to it. Might be a little bit too much. Like a yellowish tint to the gray. Okay, that's good enough. Change it around a little bit later if I want. So, the next thing I'm going to do is, as you know, we moved this over. We moved this picture, we slid this picture over so that the sunflower will kind of be, you know, on her face. So what I'm going to do is, so when I slid this over, it allowed this color layer that I created here, right? The solid color layer to be, you know, to be exposed in the background, and you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sample some of this and drop it onto here to, you know, make it one continuous color background. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit this new layer button and see if I can just drag it all the way to the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over to the healing brush tool, right? Make sure that I have current and below layer selected, as well as replace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Alt or Option on the Mac, and I'm just going to sample some color here, or some, not color, basically background material, and then just drop it onto this, right? And just try to be careful to make it continuous and things like that, right? So I'm going to fast forward now. All right, we're back. We are back. So as you can see, I used this layer 3 here to essentially just kind of clean up the background, remove that grayish brown or grayish yellow tint that was strip that was there. Okay, I'm also going to use this opportunity to use this same layer 3 to let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about. Just an outline, you know what I'm saying, kind of like, oops, Control Z, I don't want to do that. The outline of her, you know, this selection that I made when I selected her, you know what I'm saying, kind of looks a little jagged as like this green outline, you know what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do is take this opportunity, go back in fast forward mode, and just kind of use this tool here, this brush here, and I'm going to hit Alt to sample a little bit of color and just essentially lighten it, you know what I'm saying, just kind of get rid of it. Let's see if I can, you know, I'm gonna go back. I didn't want to do so many. What I'm gonna do is make the opacity and the flow go down and just very carefully remove this. So now I'm just kind of getting into like finishing touches. You know what? This is a little bit too high, or a little bit too low. So I'm just gonna go in and yeah, just pretty much get rid of some of these outlines. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward now. All right, we are back. So we are back. I'm going to do one quick thing. So I want to kind of smooth out her hair a little bit, this hair selection. So what I'm going to do is, in order to do that, because if I try to do it just on this layer, right, if I try to like select a color, like let's say one of these yellow colors, and do it on this layer, it's not going to work completely the way I want it to, because it worked in some parts of this layer, but not all, because over here, most of this layer is transparent. Only like this part here is where I want it to be. So just to make it easier, that way I can make sure to hit all the critical parts of the picture all in one shot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group. I'm going to drop everything into one group, kind of collapse it down into one group. So hold down Shift. That way when I'm brushing, I'm going to make sure to touch everything, not just this layer. Put it into this group. And I'm going to drop it down here to duplicate it, just in case I don't like what I do. So that way I can always go back to this. So I'll put the copy down here. Just hide that for now. And then this group right here, I'm going to convert it to a smart object, just to basically collapse it and then rasterize it. And then what that's going to allow me to do is whenever I start to color, select color here, it'll just allow me to very easily, all in one shot, smooth out this hard, you know, selection of her hair that I made. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward. Alright, we're back. We are back. So that just allowed me to just soften and feather the selection a little bit more. So we're almost done. We are almost done. Let's just put some finishing touches on this. So we're going to drop a black and white layer onto this. We're not going to keep it like that. We are just going to use it to make some contrast. So we're going to put this in overlay mode. And after putting this, oops, why did it get locked? I'm going to take a step back. Oh, I accidentally locked it with this. Okay, so black and white, and let's bring down the opacity. This is just to create a little bit of contrast. Let's see how that looks. Okay, just a little bit of opacity. I'm not sorry, not opacity, contrast. And I'm going to throw a color balance layer onto this. Where we at? Color balance. And it just kind of averages out all the colors in the picture. to kind of, you know, make them all look a certain way. And so I'm gonna work on mid-tones first. This is making it more red to kind of make her skin tones pop out a little bit more. If I turn it all the way, what it looks like she's there. If I go all the way the other way, it's too green and stuff, right? So, okay, I think I'll leave that there. And it's the sunflower here is very subtle. You know what I'm saying? The sunflower that's behind her head is very subtle, and that's kind of how I like it. All right, and then see what the magentas look like. That's good. I'm just kind of dialing it up, dialing it down. Oops. Seeing what goes what. Very yellow. Maybe probably get that close to you. So that was mid-tones. Let's tackle the shadows. See how that looks. And then finally the highlights. All right, let's just take one more look at this black and white. That was on overlay. Sometimes soft light looks a little bit better, but I will dial this up, dial this down. See how that looks. Okay, all right, so that's what we got going on here. And you know, I'm gonna try one more quick thing, see if we can add a little bit more, you know, just like a cinematic effect to this picture. So I'm gonna come down here and I'm going to make a gradient map. I'm gonna put that at the top here. And this gradient map, I'm going to kind of use two very typical colors, like a warm and a cool color for the highlights and shadows. And hit OK. So blue and then orange. Put that in there. A little bit more orange. I think that might look good for this picture. I'm gonna hit OK. And maybe overlay and dial this down a little bit. There we go. Let's see what that did. I'll turn it off and turn it on. It's very subtle. Make the opacity go up a little bit more. There we go. Let's see if I reverse this. Okay. Alright. Let me dial this up a little bit. Okay. Good enough. Yep. Alright. Yep. So that was basically it. That was the selective color for this picture. Alright. Thanks a lot. Alright. Wasn't that fun? Alright. I hope you guys had as much fun watching that video as I had making it. Please like this video. Likes are free. If you like the video, hit that like button really hard. If you didn't like it, then just tap it really lightly instead for me, all right? So subscribe to this channel because that'll help me out, and it'll also help you out too, because the more you tell YouTube or any social media platform what you like, it'll show you more of that, what you want to see, and less of what you don't want to see, all right? So thanks a lot, take care, and I will see you in the next video.